Good morning everyone, welcome back to my channel. I thought this morning, whilst I get myself sorted, I can talk to you a little bit about something that no one really knows about me. Now, I've been suffering with this for quite a long time, and it's not the easiest of subjects to talk about. It's not, because people with this condition don't really talk anyway, especially to people that they don't know, or even their family, because it's awkward. So I want to talk to you about anxiety this morning. It's not the best thing. It's not. You feel like crap 24/7. It's hard. Now, mine all actually started off with something totally unrelated to, well, anything really. It's a big struggle that I had to come to terms with finding out what was wrong myself. Not many people know that this happened to me, but when I was about 17, 18, walking home from my mum's that wasn't actually that far away, we lived on the same road, and I was attacked in an alleyway, but luckily nothing really bad happened. But it was enough, obviously, to set my body into a case of you are scared of everything. Now, full on anxiety, which I didn't know what it was back then. So this happened, what, 10, 11 years ago, so I've had it since. And basically, it's not as easy cut as some people make out. Because some people think that it's the same. When you explain what you have, some people think, oh yes, I've got that. But they don't realise that it is actually heightened about 1,000% to someone who has anxiety. Now, even doing things like this is hard. Honestly, I have never been petrified before, especially when I was younger. It never used to affect me when I was younger. So I was quite outgoing, sort of sports a lot, normal sort of things. But then when that incident happened, I couldn't go outside, couldn't talk to anybody, shut myself away from absolutely everyone, and to be honest still do, because it's a struggle that you will never get over. So I had some counselling. Wasn't really great, especially back then, but when I turned 21 was when it changed quite a bit, because I had my third child. He was born and he had autism, and he was diagnosed when he was 2, 3, just purely because we knew there was something wrong. So he actually gave me a very, very big push into doing things that I wouldn't normally do, because he needed me more than anyone, because I am his sole carer. Obviously his dad is there, but obviously he works, so it doesn't quite help. But dealing with outbursts on a day-to-day occasion of minimal things like him headbutting walls, he done it 24/7. Honestly, the slightest thing that would frustrate him, he would bang his head. And on a worse day, he would bang his head and he had a 2.5 hour nosebleed. So, but to be strong in myself, I had to think, right, I've got other children that I need to get to school. I've got 2 older children who I had to get to school. And I put him in the front of the car next to me, in a safety seat, obviously, but whilst I've got a tissue up against his nose, trying to take my kids to school. Now, wasn't the most comfortable, but There are other days where he can have a complete meltdown in school. Typical, autistic, doesn't understand, doesn't know, can't express themselves, can't tell people why he's angry, because he was mute until, what, about 2.5, 3, nearly 3. He didn't start talking till he was in school. And even when he did start talking, no one understood what he was talking about. No one. So we ended up one day at the school, I got put into a panic attack because he threw himself over the floor, screaming and shouting over things that no one could control, and no one knew what he was angry about, and just in the corner because there's nothing I can do. And the weirdest thing about having anxiety is you're scared about the people around you. Now, when I go and pick up my kids from school, I will purposely stand in the corner of a playground purely so that no one can stand behind me, so I can see everybody and I know what's going on. That's how silly it is. And even when you're at home, you still don't feel safe. You never feel safe. Even if you think, right, I've locked everything, I've done it all, I've locked doors, everything. You have a routine at night. Everyone has a routine at night. If you have anxiety, you make sure that everything is shut and you've done everything you possibly can to keep yourself safe. Now, the only other problem I have is at nights, my husband goes to sleep before I do, so that doesn't help. And the slightest noise, even during the day, the slightest little noise, you will absolutely shit your pants. You do. It's not literally though, but you do. You will panic and panic and panic because you don't know what the noise is. But you have to learn to deal with it. It's not easy, but you have to, especially when you have kids, you have to learn how to control it because you can't let it affect them. You can't do it. And however much I don't like doing things, I don't like talking to people. If my kids made friends with another woman's child, and they said, can I go play with them? And if they started talking, I may have to talk to that parent. And you have to basically get some balls and grin and bear it. You have to do it. Even with talking to my kids' teachers, it is terrible. I panic every single time. Luckily, I've got some that I've known for quite a few years because my kids have gone to the same school that I went to. So it makes it so much easier if I know who they are. Now, comes a case of, I did speak to people about it. I did. But sometimes it doesn't actually help. Honestly, sometimes it just does not help because they don't know what you go through. And unfortunately, it's hard to find people who have been through it and understand. Now, even with myself at the moment, I only gave birth to my daughter last year, and bear in mind I put on a lot of weight from my second child because I had completely and utterly a lot of water weight and it was terrible. So I ended up putting on I gained about 3 sizes. Not great, but to be honest, it didn't really bother me because I had it for a reason. But now, obviously, you obviously don't recover properly until 2 years after you've had a baby. Now, the other day when my kids were at school, it was one of their last days at school. So I thought, right, it's all right, I'll go in. Don't normally talk to parents. I've only got one person I'll talk to at the school. So it's not a massive deal. Oh no, it was a massive deal. Because the one thing is you get insecure about your body a lot. You think, well, are they staring at me? Do they like me? Probably not. But this certain day, I've gone to take my children into school, and there was no hi, no nothing, no how has it been, especially during the lockdown, like how are you coping, nothing. The first thing, oh, you're not pregnant again. And that was exactly my reaction, what? Because even though you have anxiety, you completely shut down. You physically cannot talk however much you want to, and trust me, I wanted to. You can't say anything. And I really wish I had, because at the end of the day, that was the most, how can I explain it? It was the most someone had put me down in a while. Because to be honest, I've been trying to lose a bit of weight, but I know that whilst you're still recovering from having a baby, it's not easy. It's not. And especially for another woman, to put another woman down about that, especially our weight, it cannot happen. You can't do it. You can't do it to people. It's not fair. And honestly, I so wish that I'd have said something to her, because at the end of the day, I don't deserve to be put down. No one does. At the end of the day, I didn't bring this on myself. I chose to have a baby, but I did not choose to have anxiety. It's something that comes along with it. And soon, some people will learn that people are secretly struggling. And I think that some people need to start helping each other a bit more. And I'm sorry, but I would never go to another woman, even if I knew she was pregnant, even if I knew, I would still never go up to her and say, are you having another one? I couldn't do that, because I would not want to put another person down, because I know what it's like to feel absolutely horrendous in your own body, and it is not fair to other people, because that is a big no-no. You cannot be doing things like that. Now, with my other children, having those has helped me massively, because if I hadn't, then to be honest, I wouldn't be leaving the house. But they give me the reason to leave my house, to be the way that I am, and to be as strong as I am, because they are the people that I live for. They might be little people, but they mean a hell of a lot. And I can't think of anything else that would actually help me any better than what they do. I really can't, because they mean a hell of a lot. Now, this lockdown has been a struggle for everyone, and I know it has. But honestly, if anyone is struggling with anxiety, feel free to message me, Instagram, Twitter, anything. I will happily be a person that I listen. Because, or even if you just fancy just saying a piece, saying how you feel, and if you don't want to reply, fine. Honestly, it might just be you want to get something off your chest, and just a normal rant. Honestly, I'm there for you to rant, because if no one else is going to be there for you, I will. Because honestly, I am not trying to big myself up, but I'm a very, very loyal person, and I will not ever discuss anyone else's problems with anybody else, because I even struggle telling people mine, let alone talking about someone else's. But do you know what? The best thing is, some people don't realise that with this condition that you are a totally different person around totally different people. It is so funny, because of my anxiety, which I didn't actually think it was, I have a terribly foul mouth. I do, because it's actually nerves. Now, I can swear a lot, and I mean a lot, and I know it's not good, but you can't help it. It is an instant anxiety reaction where if you're nervous or anything, either you could be sat there, you start itching, you start fiddling with your hand, anything. But with me, I swear, awful. But to be honest, when people get to know me, instead of just seeing that quiet mum who just stands there, doesn't talk, doesn't do anything, I'm a completely different person. And I think it takes a lot for someone to understand that. It does take a lot. And the only problems I think people have is breaking over that first barrier. And to be honest, I think I'm doing that now. Doing this is breaking a barrier. Now, to anyone who wants to talk, please do. Because the worst thing is, I know what it's like with mental health. And I don't want anyone to go through anything that I've been through. I really don't. It's the worst thing anyone could go through. So if anyone, and I mean anyone, wants to talk, please, please, please feel free to message me. Do. Honestly. Any point of time. If you're feeling like you're even suicidal, anything, if you want to talk to me, do. Because I am the most open person about anything. And honestly, I don't mind. Because people say, oh my God, but you have kids. I don't want to burden you. Trust me, you're not. No one burdens me whatsoever. If anything, I'm a burden myself. So, living with a condition like this, it's one of them things. And unfortunately, it happens. So, literally, anyone feeling any sort of way, even just down because of this whole lockdown, they haven't been out, they haven't spoken to anyone, honestly, talk to me. I do not mind. I'd rather you talk to me than sit there in silence, not knowing what to do with yourself. Honestly. It does. I know it'll take a lot, I do. But if you don't want a reply, then simply just write a message and just say, simply, this is a rant, and I'll know not to reply to it. You can say whatever you like. There are no filters. None. If it's a case of you just want to swear, go for it. Honestly, go for it. Because I'm the most open-minded person you could think of. So, everyone, I hope you are doing well, especially after this lockdown. Well, now it's gradually easing off. I hope everyone's all right. I do. Because it's been a tough time for everyone. And everyone around the world is struggling. So, honestly, you need to talk. You know where I am. So, Instagram, Twitter, anything. I'll put the links down below. So, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.